Hello and welcome to the Gamers Table. It is Monday and we're reviewing Machi Koro. This is the deluxe edition.
Yes, it is.
Because Ken really likes this game.
It's got the base game in here. It's also got the Harbor expansion and Millionaire's Row. Welcome to the city of Machi Koro, the Japanese card game that is sweeping the world. Not literally. You've just been elected mayor. Congratulations. Unfortunately, the citizens have some pretty big demands. Jobs, a theme park, a couple of cheese factories, and maybe even a radio tower. A tough proposition since the city currently consists of a wheat field, a bakery, and a single die.
A single die?
A single die. That's like the only thing they brought into the town with them was a single die when they... Okay, fine. Anyway, armed only with your trusty die and a dream, you must grow Machi Koro into the largest city in the region. You will need to collect income from developments, build public works, and steal from your neighbors' coffers. Not coffins, coffers. Just make sure you aren't doing the same to you. Just make sure they aren't doing the same to you. I can steal from myself. All right, rob from the rich and give to the me. Yeah. Machi Koro is a fast-paced, lighthearted game for you and up to 3 friends. Once you've had a taste of Machi Koro, this infectiously fun game may have you wondering if the dinner table ever served another purpose other than gaming.
That's about the only good thing about this game. It's got the monopoly. When somebody lands on your property, you get really happy. When somebody rolls a dice that matches your cards, you get really happy. It's the same sort of feeling.
A lot of cards like that what they're talking about, they'll have the numbers at the top. And when you hit in those ranges, the die hits in that range, then your card is going to pay off.
Yeah, happiness.
In some way.
Yes. Well, we've got a bag full of money here. Look at all that. You've got 20s.
Ones.
5s, 10s, and 1s. These are renovation tokens. They're little bronze-colored triangles. Whatever, I can't.
Construction things.
Construction. There's a bulldozer. Tokens. Yeah. There's a particular card
because
game that uses
it's not
those.
bad enough that you can't roll your damn dice to get your stuff to pay off. Somebody else can put a construction thing on it and make it not pay off even if you did roll it. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, okay. I do that all the time, yes.
Well, it said you start with a single die, yeah, but you can get...
You can't.
I can't get them out. I feel like I'm wearing my Dracula gloves again from our Monopoly review. But it comes with 2 dice. 2 dice? 2 dice.
2 dice.
2 dice.
If you want to speed up the game a little bit more, probably have a couple extra sets of dice for people to roll so you're not always passing the dice around. Mm-hmm. But passing the dice around is a good way of saying, hey, go.
These yellow ones here, these are like your starting stuff,
yes,
right?
Your starter hand with the expansions. Because you always play with the expansions. You can mix and match.
What's the point of having expansions? Yeah. You don't put everything in there.
Well, this one definitely plays a lot better with the Harbor and Millionaire's Row expansions. The game actually tells you at the end of the rules you can mix and matchy. So if you want to take some cards out and play with certain ones, you can do that. But you start with, basically, in this way we play it, is the City Hall, the Bakery, and the Wheat Field. Those are your starting ones. And there will be 10 cards and a draw pile. And you'll be buying from those cards when, after you've rolled, first thing you do is you roll your dice, or die. And then that will activate those cards that you start with, possibly, or you can end up rolling higher and not getting anything at all at the start.
Well, how you win the game is, I think this is all of them, but these are all the landmarks you have to build. When you build them, you flip them on the other side. Everyone will start with a city hall, which just pretty much says if you didn't actually get anything this turn, have a buck. You suck.
And that one is not counted as a landmark if a card affects landmarks.
So you got your harbor, which would allow you to make use of a lot of the harbor cards. Mm-hmm. Then you have the train station, which allow you to roll an extra die. The shopping mall, which would enhance your establishments, your bread and cup establishments.
Yeah, like these are all the landmarks.
Like your pizzas and restaurants and stuff like that. Your amusement park, which is pretty broken if you roll doubles. You get to take another turn. And the radio tower, which helps the amusement park be more broken once every turn. You could choose to re-roll your dice.
Yeah. And you get the airport.
And the airport, which is the most expensive one. If you don't buy anything, you just take $10. So if you can afford the airport as your first landmark, it makes all the other landmarks really easy to get.
Yeah. These are all the landmarks you're trying to build to win the game. Once you've built them all, you win.
So it takes the whole set.
It's a race.
This is a game that starts off slow and builds up and kind of like snowballs the longer you're into it.
It can get a little chaotic too because
Yeah.
every time you're going, everybody's rolling a die and they're oh, my thing activates, but his also activates, and you're getting hit from this side and that side. And by the time you come up, I've got $1 left, so I can't buy anything. So my turn kind of sucks. I'll roll and hope. Nope, that didn't work. Moving on. Yeah. It doesn't happen often, but it can be turns where you really have, especially if there's a lot of evil people around the table.
Yeah, very early in the game, especially because you haven't had a chance to buy a lot of different numbers. Now, the cards you pull out for the setup, the 10 cards, some of them might have the same number on them, but they cannot. There has to be 10 different cards. They can't be 2 cards of the same name in 2 different piles for the 10. They would just stack on top of each other. So you have 10 differently named cards out at the start, that draw pile, and everyone would start with 1 die. Now, Chris did mention that one landmark, if you build it, you will be able to roll 2 dice.
Now, it's not as expressed in these rules, but there's a newer version of Machi Koro. I think it's a Big Lights, Big City one. It has a different setup that you put your low numbers from 1 to 6. You have like 5 of those out. 4.
There's always 10 cards.
And then 4 of the higher from 7 to 12. Well, actually, 7 to 14,
7 to
actually.
14, yeah.
And then 2 of the purple cards. The purple cards are, I hazard to say, powerful. Some of them are just really lame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Some
just
of them
a
are
mix of
good.
both.
Yeah.
I mean, I would suggest taking some of those purple ones out because nobody buys them.
Yeah, well, it does say you can mix and match anytime. But yeah, when you're doing this setup, you take out, or you only leave in enough of one type of purple that there are players. Otherwise, but it really doesn't matter. If you get some, you just chuck them off to the side. If you forgot to take them out, we each got that one already.
Purple's the only color you can't have multiple of the same building. Like you can have 50 general stores. Well, I don't think there's 50 general stores, but if there were, you could actually build them all if you wanted to.
Yeah, they all stack and add up. The first thing you do is either roll your 1 or 2 dice, depending on if you bought the building or not.
I rolled a 5.
What'll happen is cards will activate depending on the number that was rolled in the die. And they will happen in a specific order.
What happens first?
Red cards.
They have to go off the field because they've committed something wrong.
Red cards take money from or have an effect on other players.
They are
when
the
it's not your turn.
cards.
So they will, like, say for instance, so
we need a little douche badger going across the screen.
Simple one here is get 1 coin from the player who rolled the dice or die. And then next one that happens is the
blue
cards.
ones.
Yes, that takes effect on your turn or anybody else's turn. So
if you've got a diamond, anybody rolls a 9, you go, yay! I get money for my diamond.
Obviously, a 9, somebody will have to roll 2 dice for that to happen, or you will have to roll 2 dice. And then the green cards
and the purple cards.
Well, the green cards first, but what they do is just activate on your turn when you roll the dice. So
that's it. It turns over.
Yeah, once you've bought a card, then you're
buy 1 card.
One card. Wait, that's 3 cards.
Pass the dice. It is a fun game, but there's not a whole lot to it. Like, there's a good variety of cards. And the important thing is, when you're buying cards, you want a good range of numbers. And if your numbers don't come up, or the everyone's buying... Because there are good cards and there are not so good cards in this game. And from experience, you find out very quickly. Like, if you could buy blue cards of common numbers that are rolled often, buy them. Because you're getting paid on everybody's turn, potentially. Yeah. The green cards are generally weaker, but there are definitely some good combinations you can do with the green cards.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, wrapping up for Machi Koro. Theme? You're supposed to be building a city. I mean, it doesn't really feel a lot like that because it's cards and dice mechanics. But for what you're doing, you are sort of doing that. I'm getting more buildings to my city. You just don't have any of the city management stuff, so you never have your people saying, well, we think the streets are too congested, so we're not going to build your city. You know, that kind of crap. You know, Sim City sort of stuff. Easy to play. Yeah, it's just do what the cards say. Roll the dice and pick up your stuff and do what the cards say. It's not difficult. Fun to play, 50-50. You could be having a really good day. You get some good combination of cards in front of you and have fun. And you're not totally hosing anybody, but you're not losing the game either. You're in there. And you can have other ones where it's like, sorry, I'm just going nowhere. I can't get any cards that are doing any good. Every blue card that comes up gets bought before it gets back to my turn. This isn't particularly fun. I'm just sort of being a placeholder while somebody else wins the game. So I will give it overall a 7.
Well, yeah, I enjoy this game, but it is a party game basically, or a lighthearted, easy, simple game, and because it's simple, it tends to hit the table more often than some of the more complex games and it could get overplayed. But the problem with it too is it is very random. Even if you're lucky enough to get the timing of the cards and the buying and what other people buy, if you happen to get some good cards and a variety of numbers out in front of you, it's still possible to roll that one number that you don't have or something. Or if somebody's got some better cards or they get rolled more often, they could be stealing money from you constantly or something like that. So it can be very swingy. We've had games where somebody's doing terribly for like first half of the game, and then all of a sudden they get that one or two great cards that get them on a real roll. And this game is like kind of a snowball effect. It's like you start off with a couple real simple cards, and then you start buying up some better ones. Hopefully your numbers get rolled. Hopefully you got a good choice of cards that work well together too, and it can snowball. So it's a fun light game. There's, like it says, you can mix and match and vary up the gameplay. But I enjoy it for what it is. It's a light game. I like party games and stuff, and I'd have to give it a 7.5.
That's one thing I like about this game. It's got a little bit more excitement. Like games like Can't Stop, when somebody's rolling, getting greedy, and then they fail. Like everyone's like, "Yay!" Monopoly, when somebody lands on your property, like, "Yay, I'm happy." You get sort of thing when your number comes up. It's like, "Yeah," you get a bit of shot of happiness. But it is fun. And depending on who you're playing with, it can be relatively quick. But sometimes people are looking at the cards, so it could slow the game down. But for what it is, it's fun, but I think this game hits the table too much it's just got a lack of depth. But it is a lot of fun. I'll have to go with Ken and give it a 7.5 as well.
So that's it for another episode of the Gamers Table. Tune in next time where we review another game.
Next time. When we review another
We'll
game.
have to roll the dice and see how many months that'll be. 6.
6 months it is. See you in 6
Hey, I got
months.
doubles so I can roll
Or
it
next
again.
week, depending on how we shoot.
Oh,
these.
3 months. Oh, it's down to 3 months. All right. Yes.
Back to 7.
Oh, shit.
Ha 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 ha.